Good morning, guys. I got a cup of coffee and a nice background. Thanks to Sarah for doing this. So I'm going to go over my channels today, all my favorite channels. You probably know me. I got my wife's phone too, so now you know how good of a husband I am. So I want to go over my over my YouTube channels, the channels that I watch. So I was raised old order Mennonite. We never had TV. TVs weren't allowed by church rules, neither radio or air travel or cars or trucks or we had steel wheels on our tractors and stuff. So the first thing I got was a phone at work, and then later on I got my own phone, which I got a smartphone so I can order parts for small engine stuff. That I do, pretty much what I still do. More into ATVs now than garden stuff, but it can go either way. So we got us some phones, and since I don't care for sports, I've never had TV. Well, I watched some movies. We had Netflix for a while. Finally, I just decided it's a waste of time and stopped paying it. What else is there? So I know some of the TV shows and movies and stuff. So we bought a bunch of Dukes of Hazzard from the 80s. That was kind of cool. Period vehicles and stuff from. I grew up working with 1970s and 80s farm equipment, so a lot of the farm equipment here in this area is 1970s and 80s. We did a big circle within 100 miles of here in Pennsylvania the other Saturday with Leroy. He wanted to show us all the places he delivered feed. So yeah, period, kind of our period is the 80s and 70s, other than our vehicles don't last that long. But so here's all my YouTube channels. I'm going to start at the top and just talk about a little bit about each of them. I'm an avid YouTube watcher. I love YouTube. I spend an hour or two every day watching YouTube, or maybe even 4. I don't know. I spend a lot of time on YouTube, and I enjoy finding new channels, finding good creative content that's interesting and motivating. And there's one thing I don't like is cursing. Doesn't bother me too much. Just let it go over my head without paying attention to it, but often I end up watching with my kids, so obviously I don't want it for that. So first on the list is TwoStrokeStuffing. He's a Swede or Norwegian or something feller. I haven't figured out where he lives yet, but he does two-stroke development. So he's got a space inside his garage. He builds all the parts by scratch. I think he's taught himself CNC as well as the electronic side of monitoring an engine, and he's getting incredible amounts of power out of these little engines. He loves his photography, and his videos are excellent quality. I remember one time where he was gone for a few weeks, or a week or more. He came back and he repainted and reorganized everything. A lot of us guys that have garages, we don't have the aesthetic. We don't have the luxury of time to make it nice, or we just don't care about making it nice. So here's one guy that does. The next one on the list, 4-wheel drive 24/7. They're from Australia. They are definitely Australia's biggest 4-wheel driving YouTube channel.
Yes.
In spite of what Mighty Car Mod says. We'll get to them later.
Yeah.
So 4-wheel drive 24/7. I've seen some of their videos trending in the top 5 on YouTube. I think there was one where they trended number 1 on YouTube. Big 4-wheel driving show, and Australia's very beautiful. They have their Toyota trucks. Cars, they call Toyota cars.
Yeah.
So you hear Dwayne down here. He came in and wanted to join the show, so he's right here if you hear your little voice. So yeah, I love the Australian continent and how beautiful it is up there. I don't like the tyranny, and it would be nice if a big show like 4-wheel drive 24/7 spoke out against the government overreach. But I mean, professionally, it's not in their best interest to do so. So I understand why they don't. The next one on the list is 9 to 5 to life. It used to be 9 to 5 to life off grid. I don't remember where they moved from. I found the channel last year. I think last year they moved to the Michigan Peninsula, bought a off-grid property way out in the wilderness. Chad's a very hardworking redhead. Only my beard is red, and only a tinge. They moved up. I think they said multiple times their driveway was 5 miles long into the wilderness. He started off with, I think it was a Dormax truck that his wife drove out, and a lifted second gen Dodge that he drove out. And Chad's a very hardworking guy. He's a body guy, and so his truck's beat up, needs body work, right? So never gets to it because he's working. But they had a very hard time of it out there. The Chevy disappeared. His wife had a Lexus for a little while. The Lexus, they parked halfway out the driveway last winter because there was over a foot of water and ice in the one section of the drive. They had to bring their groceries in on sleds. And he ended up buying a lifted Jeep. It looked like an 8-inch lift kit and 33s. A very lifted Jeep with a winch, and he still couldn't make it through the flooded area. So they ended up moving out and buying a little homestead. Very nice place. Just the kind of place I'd love to buy. It needs a mow, it needs some maintenance work, and otherwise you can double the value in just a matter of years of work. So 9 to 5 to life. The next one's Andre Jick. I know it's a very strange turn of events here. Andre is also an immigrant from an immigrant family, and he came from nothing and rose very quickly by doing high quality financial videos. Not quantity, just when they come out, they're very high quality, and there's always something in there to learn. Very interesting. He did one on Veblen goods, and that's pretty funny because I'm of German heritage, and that story is also apparently of German heritage, so very interesting. Go look that one up. The next one is also financial. That's ARK Invest. It's a firm run by Kathy Wood, one of the top investors, one of the top Tesla investors in the country. And it's their outlet to pass on their thinking, their free information to, I'd assume, to their customers, their clients, as well as guys like us that are just trying to understand what investing is and how that can move your life forward and preserve wealth from, my generation to the next and so on. The next is Around the Block. I think it's Around the Blockchain. I'm going to have to look up this channel and see what it was. This was a cryptocurrency channel, ISO 2022. What does this mean for your crypto? That's apparently a channel I've not been following too much. This is one of the new ones I've added to kind of figure out what they're all about. The next is Ultimate Outdoors. Ultimate Outdoors. They live just a couple hours north of us, so they come down with their ATVs and ride places like Tall Pines and Demon Run that are somewhat local to me. So basically, to go down to Tall Pines and Demon Run, they probably have a 4-hour trip down there, where we have a 2-hour trip. So they're up more toward north, up toward maybe Tug Hill area, somewhere up there, Rome, New York area. I'm gonna put a language disclaimer in for them. They're the regular kind of rednecks of this area. It's just a regular kind of rednecks. That's the kind of people you meet in small towns everywhere. They're pretty rough. They live in a rough place, so not like Saskatchewan in Canada, man. That's a whole other level. The next one's AVE. I'm gonna get a language disclaimer here. AVE is the OG original gangsta from the internet. He's got one of the biggest YouTube channels on YouTube. And he's just a rough old redneck hillbilly from way up in somewhere up in northern western Canada, somewhere up there. I haven't really placed him, but it's up north where the pine trees grow. And it's funny, when he drops a video, they've got snow 2 weeks after we've lost snow. We're below Niagara Falls here, somewhat, a couple hours. Ontario, Canada. So Ontario, Canada is like 4 hours north of here. So, and then he's like 16 hours. He's like 16 hours west of here, I think. So somewhere up in the mountains. Yeah. So anyway, AVE, big channel. He's covered up his subscriber count, so you can't see, but it's millions. The next one is Bankless. They're a couple of young guys my age. What are we called? Millennials. A couple of young millennial guys. They're into the blockchain. They're into NFTs. They're into DeFi, decentralized finance. They're into that stuff. So they're sort of like the New York Times newspaper reporters of the 1930s, but now into crypto. So follow them for kind of a up to the minute report of what's going on. The next one is Banks Power. You probably should know what that's all about. Gail Banks, land speed racer, boat racer, and these days big Duramax L5P guy. So he does tests. They have Banks products, tuners, chips, intakes, exhausts, and they do it right by the EPA, so to say. You know, they have friends in high places because they've had that mentality from day one. They're trying to work with government to make things happen. Because government people are idiots. They're not farmers, for one. They're not diesel mechanics. They're not people that actually know what it takes to keep a truck on the road. So having somebody like Gil Banks that can say, you know, your idea sounds right, but it won't actually work because, you know, maybe people need semi-trucks that aren't battery powered to go do things that batteries can't do yet. So anyway, that's Banks Power. Gil's a great engineer and quite the personality as well. Big Turbo Builds. Big Turbo Builds is one of the Haggard Garage spin-offs in Connecticut. Oh, I think they're from New Haven, or not. That's not their town though. It's been a number of years since Haggard Garage came apart. Big Turbo Builds is one of those guys. He's also a language disclaimer, just a common run-of-the-mill redneck. Not so much different from what we going on here. I can kind of follow them because they're 4 or 5 hours from here in Connecticut. Bikes and Beards. He's from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. That's where my dad's side of the family is, the Lancaster area. So he's a Christian guy. He makes the effort of reading a Bible verse in each video. He's the one that inspired me to put the Bible verses at the end of the video. And they're at the end because, hey, if you don't agree with me, you can just skip the end. That's okay. If you like it, hopefully it'll encourage you to keep your faith, keep on moving in that way, in that direction. Bikes and Beards. Speaking of bikes and beards, so he's sort of he likes cool and unusual stuff. He's one of those very creative guys that probably can't settle down long enough to, well, he probably can't weld. He probably doesn't have the focus to do something that's that intense, or do paint work, because paint takes lots of patience and attention. But he's very creative, and one of the other YouTube channels like Heavy D Sparks. Heavy D Sparks is also a lot like that. Very creative, and the other day he almost fell off the mountain with his excavator. So we'll talk about that later, but not really the ability to focus and concentrate on one thing, but very creative and very driven. So these guys go a long ways in life, but they wouldn't work in a muffler and brake shop, is what I'm saying. So, or stacking hay or driving tractors. I don't know. Looks like our bird's trying to get in here to our nest.
Yeah.
So that was Bikes and Beards. I really like Bikes and Beards. They're pretty interesting. The next one is Blockchain Backer. He's sort of a analysis of current market, crypto market. I've just added him on. He seems like a military type of guy, very well spoken and concise. So far I like his stuff. It's just something that's pretty far down on the list to actually get to. I don't have any money right now to trade or invest, so right now I'm more working on getting stuff done that makes money for me so I can turn around and invest it. Now, if I had $150,000 and I didn't have to work anymore for $1 million, I'd probably spend more time here. This guy seems to know what he's up to. But he's new as well. Blue Truck. I have friends in Pennsylvania. Blue Truck is probably from Effort or Lancaster, somewhere up Lancaster County in Pennsylvania. I'm pretty sure he's a Mennonite guy. And if I remember correctly, he is the dude that put triple turbos and a Dormax common rail fuel system on a John Deere 720. Triple turbo John Deere 720 diesel with a Dormax fuel system. And they took that motor all the way till it split the block. The splitting the block part I heard from somebody else. So I don't know his name, but I'm pretty sure he's a Mennonite fella, a driving Mennonite, like Horning or something. I'm pretty sure he's from PA, and some friends of mine have stories about stuff that's happened. So he's posted a few videos, but I haven't seen anything in a long, long time. So maybe he doesn't have the channel anymore, but it's very interesting, the stuff that's on here. All right, Bob's Barn Workshop. Bob's Barn is also a small guy like me. Nice, clean Christian guy. And he is a retired gentleman from just north of here somewhere, 50 miles or so. I think he's in Ontario County or something. I thought he was somewhere near here. I got a hold of him. He wanted to buy a go-kart. I had one for sale, and then he decided not to buy it. But through our conversation ongoing, we just figured out we both do YouTube. Oops. All right, I hit a button accident. So Bob's Barn, small guy like me, does interesting stuff. They own a lake up north in the Adirondack somewhere, Black Lake, I think. Not a name I'm familiar with, but there's lots of lakes up there, so that could happen.
Yeah, it's a lot of lakes up there.
All right, the next one's Brian Loans. This guy here, you might not know his name, but if you're in the diesel world, diesel sports world, or even NHRA, you've heard his voice. He's an NHRA Top Fuel announcer. Brian Loans is his name, and he's got a great voice, great character. He did the announcing for Diesel Power Challenge way back. I think the first 5 or 6 Diesel Power Challenges. He's not on there anymore. I think may have been part of the Diesel magazine. I'm not sure. I started Diesel Power Challenge when I was still Horse and Buggy Mennonite by buying the Diesel magazine, the Diesel Power magazine. And then, of course, as soon as I had YouTube, I got on there and I found Diesel Power Challenge. I was a fan. The power these guys are making from trucks, truck and diesel trucks was just mind-blowing. And I've been excited about that ever since. I can't afford a diesel truck, so I got my Toyota. So
yeah,
now I can't even afford that to keep that on the road. So we'll be working on it. I had a dream when I was a kid to go around with a dynamometer and do diesel tuning on tractors with the mechanical pumps and all that. There's a lot of tuning to do, and the one guy that fixes the tractors doesn't know the tuning, and the guy that does the fuel pumps in this area, he doesn't go out. So there's sort of a niche there. I kind of want to be with my family. That's the main thing. Ryan Loans, he does podcasts and very interesting long form stuff. They're on YouTube. You can just start the episode, put in your earbud, and go to work. It's very easy and fun to listen to. And he's an older guy and he's interested in any engine, motorized, speed, tunnels, anything, engineering. Good stories, good stuff. The next is CNC equipment. CNC equipment, I mentioned them in the last video, so I was watching their live stream. They do heavy equipment, and they're from Nashville, Indiana. And, well, there's Mennonite community in Indiana. We were out there for a wedding.
Yeah.
Last year, took Amtrak out there, so I kind of know Indiana. Yeah. And I think he mentioned working for some Amish.
The Amtrak was so bad.
Amtrak was so bad. I didn't like Amtrak, I can tell you that. So I kind of know Indiana. I know the area. Well, I don't know where Nashville is in Indiana, but it's pretty cool. He reminds me a lot of like our Mennonite friends from that are not horse and buggy, camo baseball caps and nice shirts, clean language. Just laugh a lot and love having a good time without being obnoxious or. So yeah, they're fun. They're fun. They work on heavy equipment. If you don't think heavy equipment can be fun, well, go watch CNC and see what you think. You'll probably get a chuckle from them. The next is cars and cameras.
Yep. Cars and cameras is an episode where they fix stuff.
Fix go-karts and mini bikes.
Uh-huh.
There you go. They fix go-karts, mini bikes. They like Hondas, and they like lots of stuff that we like. Mm-hmm. They like doing engines and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I've been watching cars and cameras for probably 6-7 years now. And I don't ever see myself not watching cars and cameras. Yeah. My boys are coming up, and they like watching cars and cameras. They think it's the greatest thing ever. So and the cool thing is they do an episode Mondays and Wednesdays. So every Monday night, every Wednesday night, we'll go watch video if we got time. Uh-huh. If not, we'll watch it the next night. Yep. But it's something me and the boys do together once they get old enough to turn their own wrenches and build their own junk. I got a toolbox full of tools, or he'll have his own. I got a welder, a grinder, all kinds of stuff.
I got some of the Jay's old tools.
Yep, he's got our friend Jay. Left a lot of tools laying around at his old house, so we clean them up. All right, cars and cameras. I love cars and cameras. They'll always be part of my YouTube subscriptions. Casey Putch. Casey Putch is from Quonset building in the middle of a cornfield in Iowa. I think he has a program with the school. So they have a big Quonset that's divided into a storage area and a shop area. So it's almost like a museum really in there. And I think he works with the kids from the school, probably school, maybe college. They do stuff like go-kart racing. And he's into this stuff like open wheel Indy cars, supercars, hypercars. Yeah. Even the flying bird thing that he's got on the ceiling in there. So yeah. And he's like a very very classy and intelligent individual. So clean language, clean dress, nice clean ideas. You know, very very nice. I like that. It's interesting. It's an interesting kind of a person to watch. What else we got? CGMR. Yeah. I want to do a project with a 6.2 or 6.5 liter turbo GM engine because I want to put it in a Toyota. And the reason for this engine is there's very few choices of engine that are light enough. I want to have like a 600 pound, 650 pound. So somewhere between 400 to 650, 700. I don't think 700. That's a pretty heavy engine. So a lot of guys put GM LS motors in Toyotas, which I hate all the stuff that everybody else does. I don't like to be like everybody else. No. So I want a diesel. I want a diesel. That's number one. I want to be fuel efficient. I want a fuel efficient diesel engine that's light. And I want displacement. All right, so I could get an OM606. It's only 3 liters. The Toyota engine that we never got, the 1HZ, 4.5 liters. That's kind of what I want, 4.5. And with that weight. So one of the cheapest options you can get is a GM 6.5 liter. It's 6.5 liters. It only weighs like 500 pounds, 450. You'd have to go look it up. So anyway, this guy's into the CUCVs, and he does really excellent work. Nice, pretty trucks once he's done. So I got into him for the GM for the 6.5 liter stuff. I don't watch him a lot, so I don't have a lot of comments on him. But he seems very professional. And sometimes the people that are very professional have a hard time expressing what their mind is trying to say. So sometimes you get that. Anyway, I'm not saying that he's particularly like that. Little bit, just a touch. So I'd say some guys, you get just a little stumble trying restarting sentences, rephrasing stuff. It's because they're very intelligent. They're just having a hard time condensing down the thought process into something that's palatable for here. So he seems very professional in that way. Charles Hoskinson, he is the creator or one of the founders of the Cardano project. And I'm kind of a Cardano investor and kind of a Cardano believer. I think I like their crypto project that they've done, and they seem to be one of the slower moving and more safe cryptos out there, because cryptocurrency is kind of a wild west. And they're frustratingly slow in their price growth, but it'll come with time, I believe. Where were we? Oh, Chode Engineering Performance. Cass Choate, they're from Tennessee. He seems to be a very hard worker. Sometimes seems almost too driven to really relax and find the joy in life, but they seem to do, so one of the things they do well, it seems, they do Cummins, Power Stroke, and Duramax work, as far as I know, Duramax. But he's one of the premier guys that machine and understand Power Stroke engines. He's also the guy that invented the valve covers that have oil squirters built in. And they're small enough. I've had a little bit of a conversation about, I contacted them once about why don't they add like a short, stubby little fin on their valve cover just so the air passing over it'll cool it down a little. I guess they understood it to be a little pretty aggressive, sharp fin rather than just a little stubby fin. I mean, you know how the fins are on these small engines. They're thick and fairly short. I mean, any fin would be better, no fin. But then the point that he brought out is rubbing hoses and harnesses on them, because you know the Power Strokes weren't meant to be in a pickup truck, so there's hoses that need to go around the long way around rather than the short way, because they're engineered for a whole different thing. So yeah, it's just a thing, you know. Cass knows what he's doing. So the next one is Christopher Martin. Christopher is my friend and neighbor. Well, kind of a neighbor. He did help me film a little. He was pretty excited about YouTube, and he got his own channel started. I think he's got one video on it. I was hoping he'd build upon it, but so far I haven't heard much. So I know Chris watches this, so if you want help with your channel or video ideas, let me know. I'll see if I can get over there and shoot some stuff with you. The next is Chud327. So I think I got a hold of Chud327 because he had this idea of cutting every other row of treads out of out of lawn and garden tires. And I think he's poor as dirt, the same as me, so we ended up doing the same idea. So there's some videos. There is a video that's got Chud327 in the title in my list. You can go on this channel and see what he does, and then go check his channel out. I think he's just a common man from Florida, just trying to survive and do cool stuff and projects.
Yep.
The next one is Colin Furs. Colin Furs is probably the original stunt guy from YouTube, and he's been around for a long time. All right, one of the things I admire about Colin loves photography and cinematography. He makes very nice videos. He is also that kind of, the whole show for him really, I think, started off with doing pranks, dressing up like an old man and trying to scare people and stuff. So he's one of those guys that has that natural bent toward doing stunts and being funny and playing tricks and jokes and things. But he also seems to like fabricating and welding and learning all kinds of new stuff. And the thing I admire about him is all these years later, I'm sort of a Toyota guy, and I notice his little Toyota Hilux in the background with half of the bed sides cut out for, I don't know why. But that truck's been in the videos for the past, ever since I've been watching, and probably long before that too. And his house is the same house, and his garden, the English call it their yard, is the same yard as it was before. And he hasn't taken on any new airs, any new ways or being rich, or he's kept it very English. I've heard Top Gear talk about that, being English, not being loud or arrogant or so maybe it's the English way, but I admire that. I really respect that. If I had a lot of money, I'd probably go build a new house or something cool for my family, because we're American. We don't mind sticking out with red cars or yellow trucks or whatever. But that's really cool. I love his projects, and I love the way that he goes about life. He tries as hard now as he did when he was new. That's respectable. Coops Creek Acres. I gotta look what this is. Oh, this is really cool. They have one video. Yeah, one video. It's called IH-Massey Quad Plowing Tile. It's an International Harvester articulating tractor. Oh, like a 4786 V8. Except this has got combined track units on all four corners. They're pulling a towel hook with it.
Yep.
That is really cool. They should do a lot more videos about that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Looks like I lost my place. Crypto Banter. Well, it's pretty much what the title says. They're bantering about crypto and things. So, I think he's an Indian guy or something like that. Just, they could be annoying or they could be entertaining. I don't think they add a lot of value to my life. So it's not something I listen to a lot. I'm not sure why I have it. I just kind of scroll through every day and look at the titles. They might get deleted over time. They have a very big audience of people. Probably traders that sit behind the computer. They're just bored to tears, and then they just play the YouTube show that they have hours. They stream hours a day, videos and content. So it could be just entertainment for people that are trading and sitting bored at home behind their computers watching the line go up and down. Next is Kryptos Are Us. He does 3 or so streams a day, like 8:30 Pacific, 11:30, and he does one at stock market open. So it's like yeah, every 2 or 4 hours or something he does a stream. He's got multiple channels. His name is George Tung. He's also from somewhere Detroit or somewhere up in the automotive building belt, Michigan, Chicago, or somewhere up there where the wind blows and the snow snows. I really enjoy George. George is a little stern, kind of like me sometimes, and he has no bones about saying stuff. Like he'll smack somebody in the comments if they're spamming or something. He'll just say what he wants to say. Pretty clean language. I like that part, as far as I know. But sometimes he drinks on the streams and gets a little bit dirty in the talk, but it's usually fairly muted, and if there's something nasty, he'll laugh but not read it, that kind of thing. Pretty respectful of everyone. I kind of go up there. It's kind of a lot of streams, so like the Terra Luna thing that's been happening, so I've been kind of every few streams I'll go listen and see what's new with Terra Luna. So I really respect George, and he is my source for crypto news. Damien Monte, he is the coolest kid, in my opinion. He's the coolest kid from the Haggard Garage guys. And I know Haggard Garage kind of dissipated. They used to rent a row of shops in a storage complex thing and hang out there and build and talk, and their girlfriends would come over after work and they'd sit around and smoke hookah and whatnot. They were a rough gang. They swore and cursed a lot. So Damien inherited the YouTube channel from Haggard Garage, and then he just changed it to Damien Monte. And he has, over the years, he just kind of faded away. I think he had a stint where he went from Haggard Garage. He got a job and just worked a job. I think he came back for a little while, and now I think he's working. It's pretty cool. I found him again on the third gen 4Runners page, so he's also bought a third gen 4Runner. He had a Honda Prelude and a 350Z that he did a lot of work on. So the 4Runners, his latest thing. He had a Power Stroke van. I liked watching his show for that. I was hoping to see a lot of stuff done on that. Dirt bikes. He also likes riding dirt bike. So I don't ride dirt bike, but I had one, and I'd love to ride dirt bike some more. I just don't have the financial freedom to go buy another one. So that's kind of why we're wanting to do that Fat Cat build. It's just that I want to start the build and end the build without getting broke or, without getting wrecked.
Yep.
That's a concern. So I like watching Damien, and I think he just took a break off of YouTube. So I think I got him on Instagram or somewhere, because I see his Facebook stories, and he did say something about just wanting to be normal. So I don't know. I probably shouldn't comment on that. The next one's David Fryburger. I got a hold of David Fryburger through Roadkill. I was a big Roadkill fan. I watched all the Roadkill shows. I think they were on Netflix maybe, or then I had the Motor Trend on. Well, they were on YouTube. So I watched them until they left YouTube. After that, I'm like... after they left YouTube, I just went over and found David Fryburger and Mike Finnegan and started watching them instead. I'm like, yeah. But David doesn't post a lot, so I kind of have him on here as a bookmark. So from Roadkill and that, the next one's the Boss Garage. So the Boss Garage is from Canada, and from just up north here in Ontario, Canada, the Niagara Falls area up there. It's also farmland and farmers and little towns and stuff, just like us up here. He builds stuff. Well, I gotta mention this. He's got an army tank, and he built a semi to haul it, and it's beautiful. He's got cool trucks, cool Jeeps, a Bronco, Ford, Chevys. He hates Power Strokes, which is annoying, but he did a really good. Shut up, Dwayne. He did a really good episode on the International DT466, so I thought about doing one as well. Because I'm from the farm side. I've ran those engines many hours. I love them. So DeBoss Garage, and then Delco Diesels. I got to see what this is. They have a video here about the 4.5 liter Power Stroke. So it's a V6 version of the 6 liter Power Stroke, and I want one so bad. Man, wouldn't it be cool to have a Toyota or a little truck with a 4.5 liter V6 in it? So I think that's where I got that. They have some 6.4 stuff, some Ford stuff. Mm-hmm. I think that they work on box trucks maybe somewhat. So yeah, he's got just a handful of videos. So I don't really know his content well. I just found the 4.5 liter thing and I was mind blown, so I just kept researching and adding channels and stuff. So alright, that was, I lost my spot. Delco Diesels. The next one is DeBoss Garage Heavy Duty. So this is DeBoss Garage, and this is all his ag and off-road stuff. So if you like DeBoss, go follow the heavy duty side. It's really cool. The next one is Diesel Sellers. I don't think they have a lot of content. So I got to see what they even have. So 6 years ago was the last stuff they posted on here. Alright, so I must have followed these guys way back. I think they did a video where they pulled a Prius away from the diesel pump in an ad. So that's... I think so. This probably stopped when the EPA came out, because I see big clouds of smoke in videos. So this was kind of the start. This was Diesel Dave, Heavy D. All right, Diesel Sellers. Lost my list again. Dinosaur Adventureland. So this is kind of a hard one to really explain. So you could probably go on their website. I think it's drdino.com. But I have this weird thing. I just put my phone up when I shower and listen to guys. So I'll set this guy up and listen to him preach. Calling. Yeah, somebody's calling. They can go pound fan. So I listen to him. I listen to him when I shower. He's a pretty radical guy. In some ways, very intelligent. He was a school teacher. He got in prison for fraud somehow. Something to do, I think, with him pulling out big amounts of cash to pay his workers that were subcontractors or something. He seems to have a hard time pinning down a relationship. He's been remarried a number of times, and it seems like his ex-wives just simply hate him. And I don't really know why somebody that intelligent would have that hard of a time finding a partner and doing it right. So maybe it's just a wrong view of marriage, or I don't know. I don't know what happens. Maybe it's the same thing that makes the apple fall.
Yeah.
I don't know. It might be to do with the thing with overachievers. Like somebody like Elon Musk is clearly an overachiever. He's had trouble staying married. And I kind of understand why. These guys are never home. They are working. They get up before their wife's awake, if they're even at home for the night. The overachievers, it seems. They will get home after their wife's asleep, leave before they're awake, and then they never see them. They just never get to see them. And eventually, you can't have a relationship with no relationship. So that's one way it seems they fail. So I don't know about him, but I do know that there's a big deal with that. And yeah, very strong-natured guy. And I think most of the stuff that he teaches is is correct, but there's probably some stuff that he teaches just as heartedly, no doubt, that is wrong. So it's one of those channels that I appreciate for the good that they do get done. And I realize that God doesn't call perfect people for every single job, but he calls the people that fit the job to get the job done. So maybe some of the heroes of our faith were really messed up people, and I think that we need to take the good that they can give us and leave the rest. I have had friends like that we were friends for a while. We learned from them, and then I let them move on. So anyway, I would say very strong-mannered guy. You might love him, you might hate him. I would suggest take the good that you can get, and just let the rest slide, and just unsubscribe if you don't like it. So the next one is Dirt Garage. They're a couple boys from Idaho. I think they do four-wheeling and stuff. They got a couple Toyotas, and they seem like they're working very hard to make their channel to make their channel move ahead, to build the channel and make good content. I've seen the photography from outside of their shops and their garages and stuff, and they don't have a lot. They don't have a lot, the Dirt Garage guys, but they seem to do an excellent job with what they've got. All right, moving on. Dirt Garage also has Land Cruiser content, so that's very rare in the U.S. Dodge Cowboy 90. I don't remember what this is. We got some first-gen Cummins stuff. Hauling hay, first-gen Cummins. Pulling a load. So looks like I subscribe just for the Dodge first-gen content. The first truck I fell in love with was a Dodge first-gen. Big red Dodge. All kitted out. Exhaust, sun visors, bug shields, big mirrors. CB radio. Was Dad's friend. Shorty shirt. Also Mennonite guy. Adam Shirk, sorry. He was a shed hauler, and they had big block Chevy 454s, and he said once they got their first Cummins Dodge, he said the truck's stance was wider. It went down the highway in the wheel tracks of the semis without trying to jump from track to track. And the Cummins just towed, and it got way better fuel mileage than the 454 Chevy. So, man, Adam had a Chevy sports car, so he wasn't just a Dodge guy. All right, we got to go down here to Dodge Cowboy 90. The next one's Donut Media. You've probably heard of these guys. They do reviews. They talk about cars and different stuff.
Yep.
They act like they're coked up Californians, but the funny story is, here's a funny story on Donut Media. I went all the way back. So there was a guy named Rob Turk. Something. His last name was Turek. And I think it was some kind of a pro drifter. So remember the Haggard Garage guys from Connecticut. So they went all the way out to Florida. They went out to Washington State too. They might have been through California. But I think they were friends with this guy. So it's kind of funny that the drift scene in the New England area gave birth to apparently Donut Media. And these guys were weird. I don't know. Part of the screwed up society that we got. Hopefully that doesn't generalize anyone. I don't really know what the society is. I didn't grow up in our little town. I don't know a lot of things. I have blind spots, and this is one. But anyway, it seems like the crazy Hager drama stuff gave birth to, in a roundabout way, to donut media. And I could be completely wrong. Ryan Turek, Turak, I think. So I might be completely wrong, but there might be more than one Turk in the world. So I don't know. But it's funny that Hager Rod shot videos with Ryan, and he is in a lot of the first donut videos. So the donut guys are a little bit crazy and insane, like they smoke too much mushrooms and whatnot, but they're pretty interesting, and I think they do a pretty good job of blocking out all the, the profanity and stuff. So anyway, Doomsday Diesel. Doomsday Diesel is another one of those very technical, very engineer by nature. So it can be pretty cruciating watching the videos and watching him express himself. And it feels like he's always annoyed about something. But when you're an engineer and you see all the details, you know all the stuff, you taught yourself all the processes like powder coating. I was just watching the KMC wheels video, and yeah, very annoying video, no doubt about it. You spend money on a pair of wheels and they're engineered wrong, they're done wrong, and the powder coat process is different from wheel to wheel. It's very annoying, but I think having humor in the channel, being well spoken. If you want to do a YouTube channel, it might be better to have somebody else that's more well spoken do the actual video. So he knows his stuff, even though it can be hard to listen to. I appreciate him being there. He does OM606 Jeep swap stuff, so that's kind of how I got into it. And I appreciate the effort, so I've been keeping him on. Yep. The next one is Dust Runner's Automotive Journal, and this guy talks about engines and cars and different stuff. So, with a little bit more research into stuff, I think he'll do pretty well. I'm an international guy. My nickname was 1066 because people thought that I knew every single thing about him, and I wouldn't stop talking about him. I'm an international guy to the bone. So he did a 466 video, and I felt like he missed about as much as he covered and got some things wrong, like the engine weight. Just the bone I have to pick was like the weight, and he could have gone into the engineering side and stuff, but maybe it was supposed to be a short video. So I don't know. But I think that the 466 compared to like the Boss Garage did a video on the 466. He had some weight and horsepower and torque charts, and the 466 did really well. That motor did really well. And you got to remember, it'll make like 1,500 horsepower before it splits the block, I think. Maybe it's more like, no, they make 3,000 horsepower, maybe more, with a big triple turbo pull tractor. So they're an incredible engine. There's very few people that really know what that motor can do. So for it to weigh a couple 100 pounds more than like the Cat, because the Cat is a boring block motor that's trash anyway. So, well, in my opinion, don't ask the boss there. He's put one in his Ford. So, and a lot of people gave him crap. They're like, why don't you take out a motor and put in a heavier motor with the same power? He's like, because I want to. Hey, I can respect that too. Dust Runners, so they do pretty good. I think the channel has place to really grow out. And he's got a pretty good speaking voice and takes care with his background and his sound quality and stuff. So I think they'll do very well. Next one's Elevation Worship. They make a lot of the Christian music that I listen to. I don't have a lot to say about them. I think there was a controversy. There was a controversy with some of the big churches out there that make worship music about kind of like the integrity of their Christian beliefs or something along that line. Kind of the integrity of their beliefs and their way of living. So that's always very important. If you, I believe if somebody like, I profess to be a Christian, then it's my responsibility to live it out and be what I say I am. So they're, I don't watch it a lot. They have Sunday morning services, so I don't have a lot to say about them, other than I listen to their music, some of the songs I like. Engine Builder magazine. They do a very professional looking review of different engines and different builds that they come across. Engine Builder might be a magazine or something, so I'm not sure. I don't particularly enjoy their content, but every now and then they'll come across a diesel or something that I like, and then I'll have to go watch that. So, Fab Rats. I gotta say, Fab Rats is probably my favorite YouTube channel. And it's just because, you know, it's... Yeah. Paul does welding. He works on old junk. I'm not a Chevy guy like Paul, but Paul likes Toyota too, so that helps. Yep. He works on old junk and works in his garage, welds, does recovery sometimes in the sand dunes. And I think a lot of people enjoy when his wife comes out because she's pretty funny. I enjoy it because his wife is funny. She reminds me of my business partner's wife, and they had a funny relationship. It was, I don't know. Miss wears the pants, which is funny. Not that my wife probably wears the pants sort of in a different, more low tone way, but it's funny. It's cool to see the kids in the videos and his friends and his brother, and I don't know, I really enjoy it. Very good editing, I think. Yep. So it's cool. They're doing very well. I'm surprised that they aren't at a higher subscriber count than they are. And it's cool that they have this community out there in Utah where there's tons of YouTubers. My wife says there's tons of YouTubers on the family side doing family content, as well as fathers.
Then Michelle thought that was a carrot, but it was a chili.
The last video, somebody gave them a jar of pickled stuff, and they were eating pickled asparagus out of the jar, and Paul gave Michelle a pickled red hot chili pepper, and she thought it was a carrot. He said, "Here, you want a carrot?" And she bit it in half. Yeah. and fire shot out of her mouth. That was funny. I think we all enjoy Fab Rats. My wife comes over if she hears Michelle's voice because she gets a kick out of it too. Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, Fab Rats is fun. Yeah. And they're very fortunate to have a YouTuber community out there that all kind of work together and do stuff. The next one's Formal Gray. Formal Gray is a contributor to the Cadet Connection, the Cub Cadet magazine. He is from Pennsylvania. He does little mods, tips and tricks. Lots of little custom parts and stuff for Cub Cadets. So like the old ones from the late 70s and through the 1980s, they have a handle in the dashboard to drive. Yeah. And they have a handle to lift the blade. And what else is there? Oh, you need a hand for the steering wheel. So now we're up to 3 hands. So I think he's done a couple pedal conversions where you have a foot pedal to drive. I've done a dual pedal conversion as well in mine, just over here, that needs some work. So Formal Gray, not a lot of content, but pretty cool stuff when they do come out. Fearless Front, Todd Christopher from Maine. I watched him a lot back when he put out a lot of content. He's also pretty run-of-the-mill redneck. Uses all those kinds of cursing and language that's pretty normal. He does off-road wheeling with Murray lawnmower he built with ATV tires and stuff. He does some how-tos on hopping up engines. He's also a pretty run-of-the-mill guy, man. He's got not a lot of stuff, but so he's been working really hard over the past years, and they finally managed to build a house. And probably with a little bit more work, I think he works in forestry or something. He'll probably be able to actually build his first shop. So they've started from nothing, man. And I respect the fact that he's come a long way. Lots of hard work went into it. So as he's been working and the family has been growing, there's been a lot less Todd Christopher fearless front stuff. But he was pretty famous in the mud mower community. Probably still is. All right, the next one is Final Stand. Final Stand does stuff with Dogecoin videos, the meme crypto. So I think he's doing very well himself. I don't watch it a lot. I don't feel like it. He needs my help. And there's nothing really new going on with Dogecoin, so I've just been not watching and stuff. He's a very unique style. I mean, I don't have any complaints really, other than his content is pretty high calorie and not a lot of nutrition there usually. Because you're making videos about a currency that doesn't really have any new developments. It was exciting when it went to $1, but now it's at 3 cents or something. So it's kind of hard, you know. It's kind of big shoes to fill there, and he seems to do it well. The next one's Finnegan's Garage. Of course, I got Finnegan from Roadkill, and he does some cool stuff. He likes his speedboats and whatnot. Very professional and charismatic guy. I have nothing but good stuff to say about him. And he does collabs too. He's brought in Power Driven Diesel and those guys to do work on his stuff. So he'll bring in people that know the trade too. So you'll learn from top quality guys when you're watching Finnegan's. All right, the next one's Firepunk Diesel. Firepunk Diesel, I really connect with those guys. They're in the middle of Amish country, first of all, so they're probably descended from the Amish community. I know in one of the podcasts they did mention that there were Mennonite guys, so maybe they were one of the Mennonites. There used to be a chat line you could call and talk with kids, teenage kids from all over the world, really. And I remember all kinds of different Mennonites and Amish out there, so I kind of chuckle every time they try and pretend they're not Amish, because they are Amish, and they've bought their first diesel truck. I think their dad had an '01 Dodge, this would be a second gen, and they did a little stuff to it, and once they got old enough, they got their own trucks and hopped them up and learned how to make power and different stuff, and really got into the diesel world and just kept going. They're going to have trucks that they worked on in UCC next, or this weekend, or whenever it is. They run the fastest diesel truck in the world. They're very hard workers, man. They work their tails off. I always think that, man, I hope you guys keep your relationship with your family first of all, because I'm sure they put in a lot of hours, lots of work. I really respect that, and they seem like a fun company to work for, even. And I love their dyno videos, and I even love their shop shenanigans. It's pretty cool. The next one is Freed Diesel. So Freed, that's the last name, is Freed. He was a camera guy for Whistling Diesel until Whistling got mad at him. So now he's doing his own channel. I think the reason Whistling got mad at him was just because professional camera guys don't talk on camera, not from behind the camera. And he did. And it was really funny, and a lot of people really liked that. And I think he was so funny that he kind of outshone Whistling Diesel in his own way, you know. And I think that just rubbed Whistling wrong. So man, if they could have worked something out, that would have been great. So for a professional, if you're a really professional business guy and you have somebody like Freed and he's funny behind the camera, you should probably bring him in front of the camera. Put somebody else behind the camera that actually enjoys just being the camera guy, just being professional and doing his job. But I guess they didn't really work out as working together. So Freda's got his own thing going on now, and I think that's pretty good to him. If he puts some effort into that, he'll do really well. I think he'll do really well. He's got Amish cousins as well, so he's also Mennonite Amish background of some sort. It was pretty fun. He drove his horse to school to get his girlfriend, or he drove his cousin's horse buggy to school to pick up his girlfriend. That was hilarious. I mean, it shows that you're not too prideful to admit that you're of Amish or Mennonite background. It can be a little hard for a lot of people. Garage 4AGE. So the 4AGE is a Toyota motor in one of the little sports cars. I'm not sure which. It might have been, no, it's a front engine car. I don't know much about it, but he's got a Toyota with a 4AGE and he's got a dyno. And he's been doing all velocity stack tests and all kinds of different shapes and sizes and things. So it's been very interesting to kind of gather the technical data. Seems like a very technical, professional channel, and yeah, good stuff. Not a lot of videos, but I try and watch them. They got nice graphs and things I can understand. The next one's Garage 54. They're from Russia. So I don't know if they're currently filming stuff or not. I mean, Russia is not under attack as far as I know. I don't know which particular region they're in, so they might not be involved in the war, but it seems like they have a translator do voiceovers for us, so we can watch the stuff in English. So they're getting voiceovers done on older videos. So they're keeping us occupied. They got good content. They do dumb stuff like Vaseline and engines and see if they survive. And some stuff's actually pretty intelligent. But it's the kind of stuff that lots and lots of people would watch. Gray River Gold Dredge. Nobody's heard of this. But I'm going to tap on their show. They have an international harvester TD40B. So, and they do gold dredging. The TD40B's rebuild. They got only a few videos. Let's see. Gray River Gold Dredge. But that rebuilt TD40. So International in the 80s got in financial trouble. They sold off the tractor division to Tenneco, big oil company, which also bought GIK, so merged those together. GIK's Davy Brown, I think. And then the industrial side, they sold off to Komatsu, or they went through multiple sales. But they did end up building these tractors in Poland, and the TD40B, I believe, was built in Poland. It's a humongous dozer. It's pretty cool to watch. And they apparently love it enough to have it repainted and stuff. So the next is Grindhard Plumbing Co. They're also famous on the internet for building Barbie cars with ATV and dirt bike motors. And they're doing very well. They're growing exponentially and do a very nice, clean job of their their videos. And they're good at getting their funny people in front of the camera and getting good people behind the camera and getting all that stuff done. I find them pretty interesting. I love the area where they live in, all the pine forests and stuff, and they can go dirt bike riding and whatnot. They're all very quite well spoken and humorous in their own way. No. What's the next one? Guilt-Free TV. So Guilt-Free TV is healthy cooking and stuff. I think he did an interview with Steven. Stephen Bancars. So I kind of got him from Stephen Bancars and felt like we were on the same page as far as our spiritual, biblical beliefs. And he does vegan cooking, so I've got interest in nutrition and stuff too, so I kind of got him from that. It was pretty interesting. The next one's Harry's Farm. And Harry's Farm is an Englishman. All right, Harry's Farm is in England, so it's pretty cool to watch Harry, and he's a very intelligent guy. He knows all about the farming stuff. He can talk about the environment, the farming, the financial stuff, the political stuff, and actually be on his ball, be and know what he's talking about. So a lot of us guys are farmers in, from the Mennonite background with no TV or internet or radio. Oh, we don't get the news. We get country folks. We see what's in the farm paper. So we don't really care about the political stuff. We don't participate in elections or anything like that. So we just farm. So, well, most people care about politics and stuff. So yeah, it does get talked about with the English people from, when they come in and do deliveries, or the milkman or whoever comes around. But Harry is able to talk about all that stuff and make sense. Very intelligent guy. Very enjoyable videos to watch. The next one's Hashoshi. He is from Canada as well. He is from Canada as well as the other YouTubers from Canada. He's a very intelligent young chap, and he does crypto content, and he goes and finds important things. Like if there's something going on that's really important that we need to know about, like securing our wallets or how a new crypto works, he's on it. Very interesting. Very interesting. And I'm sure he's one of those guys that even if he has trouble communicating, he's going to edit the video until you can't tell. That's how good he is. The next is Heavy Checklist. That is from Heavy D's channel, David Sparks. I added it. It's his podcast channel. I added it just to kind of get a little bit more David Sparks content. I don't agree with all the stuff that's on there, like the Eastern mysticism stuff. But there'll probably be podcasts on there that are valuable and enjoyable. I've just recently subscribed, so the next one is Heavy D Sparks. I really enjoy Heavy D. He's living the dream. He is financially able to do pretty much whatever he bloody well pleases, and he likes doing stuff for other people, the recoveries, and just living life to the fullest with military equipment and big heavy machinery. So that's very cool. I enjoy Heavy D Sparks. I watch almost all the stuff he puts out. Yeah. Henry 22LR. He is south of me, about an hour drive. We were through his town on our big trip Saturday. I got a hold of him by buying snowmobile stuff. I came down, he had a Toyota Tacoma with some custom bar on it and stuff, and figured out that even though he's probably over 6 foot tall, looks more like a basketball player. Dwayne, he enjoys this little Toyota extra cab. Since then, the truck developed wiring issues, and he moved on to Chevy 1500. But he also races snowmobiles. He's also involved in dirt track racing. So hopefully, someday we'll make it down in his area, and we can. I think he works one of the wrecker trucks. Him and his dad on the track. So let's see, where are we at now? Horse Torques Diesel. Horse Torques Diesel is he's one of the channels I follow a lot because he's an all-out guy. And he worked for Power Driven Diesel. Power Driven, probably, in my book anyway, has a name for blowing up engines. They'll test every part, they'll take it right to the limiter. Not like Banks Power. Banks will use all the electronics, will monitor everything, and then go step by step and, watch stuff like air mass, watch stuff like heat rejection. Well, they don't do any of this. They just put big turbos on stuff and blow it up. So it's fun to watch, but kind of heartbreaking as well, because understand that the electronics nowadays, you can do cylinder pressure monitoring, and you can measure every temperature and pressure of everything on a computer. And then you have top quality data to, once you do fail apart, you know where your limit is, and you can set that limit. You don't have to break that part again, unless something else changes, it breaks apart. So Horse Torques is from Power Driven. You'll see Power Driven gear around here, because I really respect those guys, the amount of effort they put in. Horse Torques has moved from, he doesn't work for Power Driven anymore. He's moved up east into Virginia, and they started a new business venture with a friend of his called Wide Open Throttle Motorsports, or I think it's WOT Motorsports, or Performance Motorsports. So they're doing racing. He is going to be at UCC this year with his truck. Horse Torques here. I don't remember his name. You remember his name, Dwayne? Horse Torques. He doesn't know. He doesn't know the title, or he doesn't know the channel name. He knows him, the guy by name. So he's also continuing the tradition of just pushing everything full hammer to the wood. And he's recently been given charge of the Dynamite Diesel products Pro Street truck. So the Pro Street truck is the one that's going to be going to UCC. I don't know who's pulling the truck pull section of it, though. You might have a friend tag in for him, because this year they are allowed. The next one's I Am George. This is one of George Tung's channels. I don't remember which one exactly. I think it's his lifestyle channel. Same quality content as all the other George Tung channels. IH986 fan. Got to see what this is. Looks like he does toys and things. He might have built some custom. Looks like he does reviews on tractors. He has some old tractor ads as well. Okay, so he's into toys and old tractor promotional videos. Let's see where we're at. Indy Woods. Indy Woods a pretty cool Canadian redneck. And he's one of the Canadian rednecks that doesn't swear a lot, or curse a lot, so it's pretty cool. He likes old chainsaws and doing parts and polishes, and he knows stuff about chainsaws that nobody else did, and he's pretty interesting at it too. He's like me with editing, not a great editor, so you can just use your skip ahead button to skip the parts that are too slow. So very, very good stuff, though. I really appreciate him, and I hope he does very well. I hope he goes places. The next one's Isaac. It'll be fine. Isaac is the other party in Cars and Cameras.
Yep.
And Isaac is older than he looks. And he has, I think he's almost 50 or something crazy.
Yeah.
So Isaac is a Texan. He's from Texas, but he lives in North Carolina. North Carolina?
Something.
Yeah, North Carolina. He owns tons of properties and stuff.
Yep.
Tons of Chevy trucks and Mercedes cars and warehouse.
Yep.
And one thing about Ike is he's got a brother with a bike shop there in the area as well. He's worked many, many, many years for a little European car shop in North Carolina there. And his boss is the coolest guy you can imagine. And the shop is awesome. It's got a tile floor. I think it's a tile floor. Brick walls. It's pretty, and it's old, and it's well kept. And the owner's awesome. So that might be a very odd thing to say about Ike, but those are the things that stuck out to me. The next one is Jack Farwood. I think that's a Toyota channel. I gotta check. Yes, he has Toyota Turbo Diesel. Looks like he's got some Jeeping stuff. Toyota. Oh, I know. I think Jack Farwood did a custom bumper. Maybe an engine swap. Yeah, that's what it was. Jack Farwood diesel swapped the Toyota truck. Alright, let's go back down the list here. Jack Farwood and James Johnson. Capital letters James and then Johnson. He's a pretty cool guy from Florida, also a common man. He's into Cub Cadets, and he works at a helicopter place, so he had access to mills and lathes and different stuff. So
Yeah.
he built an articulating Cub Cadet with a front blade, kind of like a log skidder blade.
Yeah.
But things changed. I think he's a fairly older guy. He might be a little bit have health issues a little bit, but he did a long series of videos on the Cub Cadet, and he had to move. They did get hit by the floods the other year, the hurricanes, and then he had to move and stuff. So we haven't seen a lot of him lately, but he's a very nice guy and a pretty good engineer. And he really enjoys this stuff, what he's doing with the Cub Cadets. And we really enjoyed watching the show. He's got only a few subscribers, so pretty nice if you could go and give him a hit up there. He's not far from the Florida Flywheelers show, so I always wanted to kind of go down and meet him. All right, JH Diesel and 4x4. JH is one of Cletus McFarland's buddies and part of the big gang of Florida rednecks down there. Let's say they have lots of adventures and lots of fun. JH is a pretty good guy. One of the things to note, he's very outspoken about the EPA and government overreach in that area. So I like him because of that. That is honesty that could cost him money. So I really appreciate it. John Barnes. John Barnes is an international something. Oh, John Barnes put a DT360 in an F250. There's not a lot of videos, but there's a couple. There's some good stuff, yeah. All right, we're having to scroll down further and further here. HIJ, John Barnes. All right, the next one's John Ruth. John Ruth is one of the TV or the show personalities for 4-wheel drive Supercenter in Australia. So way back in the day, they had a 4-wheel drive magazine, and then they would do 4-wheel drive videos on DVD, and then you could buy the DVD. So John Ruth has been reposting some of the old DVDs onto YouTube, as well as making some new stuff. He is pretty high up there in age. Maybe doesn't get around as much, but he did buy a Mahindra truck lately, and they've been upgrading that over time. He is a big fan of bikes, so if you find bikes interesting, that's pretty cool. He's a big Toyota fan. He's got a couple of old Toyota 40 Series, very, very cool trucks. Very fun to watch. So a lot of the old DVDs that he puts out are old adventure series, like a 1-hour DVD, going camping and doing mostly the stuff that 4-wheel drive action does now. John was the predecessor of Shawno and the 4-wheel drive action crew now. So some of the characters cross over. It's very worthwhile watching. Johnson Ski Garage, Ski Rage. They had a lot of fun throwing tools and making fuss. Fixing old Fords. He's got a 4BT Cummins swap F-150 bullnose. They've done some other bullnose stuff. They had a 6.9 bullnose on the channel one time. He even made a bullnose wagon for his bullnose truck. They're from Oregon. Big tree country out there. I don't see too much of him these days. I think he's mostly working a job and being busy doing that. I think I'll have a language disclaimer on some of the older videos with him and his brother Adam working together. They get pretty rowdy. But I found it pretty fun, especially the Ford front axle rebuilds, transmission. He did lots and lots of work on his Ford truck to make it where it is now. Jordan B. Peterson is, well, probably pretty well known now. He's a clinical psychologist, and he is, I know his wife is a Christian. I would say he's experimental into Eastern mysticism. So like yoga and meditation and all that Eastern religion stuff. So, but I'm saying that to provide context to some of the stuff he says. Some of the stuff he says wouldn't ride well with a Baptist. So it's also like most of the stuff is good stuff. Understanding psychology and stuff. I think everyone should understand psychology. Psychology is very important. If you have struggles where you're thinking, oh, maybe I should get depression medication or stuff, understand your psychology first. Your spiritual and your psychology. If you understand the spiritual side of things and the psychology side of things, you probably will never end up on medication. Probably not. You could, but I would say don't use medication as a shortcut. Let's put it that way. Take care of all the other stuff that you can take care of practical in your life. Maybe get rid of stress or get rid of bad relationships and stuff, and understand how your mind thinks and why you go to the places that you go to. So, and JPB's been very interesting on that. He's a very good speaker, very emotional guy, and pretty bold too as far as saying what he thinks. And they've gone through some pretty hard times with mental health and physical health as well. So his daughter also does some shows. His daughter was on the heavy checklist as well. So they talked about the beef only diet, which is kind of embarrassing. But anyway, the next one's Kent Hobbit Official. It's one of Dinosaur Adventureland, Kent Hobbit's channels. I think he does his Bible studies and comments on comments through there. So the same disclaimer with Kent. Very strong guy. He might say stuff that's wrong or aggravating. If you can't take it, leave it. The next one's KGS Schoenfeld. They are a Mennonite church in Germany, and always wondered, since we come from Germany, way back when the U.S. was first settled, or Pennsylvania was first settled. So we're German going way back. I always wondered if there were still Mennonites in Germany. So I found KGS Schoenfeld, and sometimes I'll listen to him. They do Sunday morning services. The next one is Land Cruisers Direct. I think that, I don't even know what this is. I think it's a YouTube channel for, they have engine videos. Just engine into the hood. Land Cruiser Direct. I think that's like a Land Cruiser's parts place or something. So I don't really know what they are. They're not posting lately, I can tell you that. That's about all I know. All right, Mark Felton production. So Mark Felton is my favorite World War II and current and past wars historian. I love history. I really love Mark Felton. He's very concise, very clear, and moves right through his production. And I love his intro music. Matt Kubik. Matt Kubik is, I gotta go check again, but he has got a 7.3 Power Stroke mechanical injected dragster or drag car, and he's really into the old Ford trucks. Here he's got a 1972 F100. He did a Highboy Dana 44 heavy duty inspection teardown. That's a closed knuckle Dana 44. It's very interesting. Kind of like the Toyota, but they still use a knuckle inside instead of a CV. So that's Matt Kubik. Let's go ahead and go back down. Matt Snader. So Matt Snader is a Mennonite guy from Pennsylvania. He started an online business called PAPuppies.com. So he did very well for that, and they moved their family to Alaska. And they do crazy stuff like trying to snowmobile the Iditarod Trail that failed, or launching a limousine off the cliff. Fun outdoor adventures and stuff. Not a regular poster. Loves fishing, outdoor stuff. The next one's Matt's Off-Road Recovery. They're also friends with the Fab Rats and other YouTube channels in what's their state? I can't remember the state anymore. Up there by Lake Powell and all the deserts and whatnot. So they're family friendly, doing off-road recoveries and stuff, helping people out. Very enjoyable.
That's off recovery.
They post at the same time that Fab Rats does. So it's always Matt's off-road recovery and Fab Rats, and they're doing a big off-road wrecker build. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I'll watch Fab Rats first, and then I'll go watch Matt's off-road recovery because I like them both. The next one is Mighty Car Mods TV2, MCM TV2. That's where you see the real side of Marty and Moog from Mighty Car Mods. It can be dirty and vulgar and so forth, but it's the real side of them. I guess I'm on there for extra content. They don't post regularly, and I don't necessarily watch regularly. Let's see. Meet Kevin, yeah. Gubernatorial candidate for California last year, and big stock guy. He used to do daily market opening live streams. He's pretty funny, but gotta wonder sometimes what he's actually on. But he seems to love real estate, seems to love investing. And it can be pretty interesting to watch. The next one is Michael Lopez. And I don't even know what that is. Looks like I'm gonna unsubscribe from that. Looks like he's in a band. Looks like he does cartoon clips. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how I got that channel. Let's see. Getting down far enough where I gotta keep my place. Michael Lopez. Mighty Car Mods. Yeah, those guys are interesting. Back when I started watching, it was low dollar, cheap cars, trashy little Toyotas and stuff. And I think the reason I keep staying on is just because they're funny and entertaining. And I like the Billy Goat sounds. Yeah. And the reactions are always hilarious. The next one's Millennial Money. This is Meet Kevin, Andre Jick, and two of their friends doing a podcast talking about the current market and so forth. The next one's Mishimoto Automotive. It's like the customer relationships / engineering information channel for Mishimoto. Not a big watcher. It's probably pretty interesting when it does come out. Next one's Motion Auto TV. That is run by Trevor Jameson and his friend there. I don't remember his friend's name, but they are sky high in Colorado. And Trevor said once that he got into this automotive stuff. His dad was into it, and his friends were pretty much all on drugs and stuff coming out of high school, and he just started his own YouTube, started fixing and flipping cars and stuff, and now they have a website where they kind of like the Amazon affiliate link. Amazon gives you a link, you can send it to somebody, they can click on it and buy the product, and you get a slice of the pay. So that's kind of how the Motion Auto's performance parts website is. Stuff that Trevor's used that he likes, and then you go on there and it'll probably redirect you to the company website of whoever makes the product you're trying to buy. They do t-shirts too. I believe his girlfriend that he hasn't married yet for some reason, don't know why, I think she does the shipping for him, and they work on cars and stuff. And lately, they've just moved into a big junkyard, and they're having fun flipping cars, buying junk, all this and that. Which is definitely what he loves to do, is buy junk and then not get it fixed. Kind of like me, I can feel that. So he's a pretty honest and open dude. Fairly clean, and works hard. He really works really hard. And he's come up to, I believe, 650,000 subscribers now. So he, yeah, I can feel for him in a lot of ways, you know. What's next? Motion Auto TV. MRC Builds. That's somebody new I found. I think he might be in the southern coastal area, US, maybe Florida somewhere. He's a big three-wheeler guy. Pretty well-spoken and interesting with his three-wheeler repairs and builds and stuff. The next one is Monroe Live, run by Sandy Monroe. Sandy Monroe is an engineer. He's worked for Chevy, I believe, a lot for Ford, done engineering, cost analysis, and so forth. So now he has torn down Teslas and stuff. So he's an EV enthusiast, and he'll tear down the cars and give his opinion on how everything works. And with the success of the YouTube channel and his business now, he's been bringing in more professional people. One of the guys he brought in was an upholstery guy. So this dude could look at a seat and tell you how everything works, a steering wheel, how the leather goes on, and the door panels and all this and that. So very interesting. Bringing in more like-minded people that are very highly educated on how engineering works. And I'm an engineer by personality. I really enjoy the engineering content. And Sandy Monroe doesn't hold back. I'll tell you what. I've seen moments in the videos where his colleagues were saying, "Sandy, don't say that. Sandy's an old man. He grew up back when you could say some words and things that you can't say now." Nathan Martin, he's a friend of mine. He does some videos. He's a friend of me and Christopher. Some videos I've thought about collabing with him. I'm not sure what we could collab on. Maybe a snowmobile build or something. But he's also got a job. Very busy guy where they work for. So he doesn't seem to post too much right now. The next channel is called Not For Hire. He's somebody I've just found. He does stuff with Chevy 6.2, 6.5s. Not highly edited, not highly educated, just a common guy. The one video he had is how I make money with junk. He hauls campers. I didn't watch that video, but I kind of wanted to. So that's pretty cool. The next one I'm not going to mention. This is a sub-channel of one that I have unsubscribed from in the past. The next one is Not So Handy Car Guy. The one I unsubscribed for has to do with conspiracy theories and all the nonsense. And Not So Handy Car Guy, he does car reviews, and he's pretty good at it. Kind of like Doug DeMuro with a smaller channel. I think he's kind of sweet on the Toyota stuff. He's done 4Runner and different generations of videos. And a little bit of car repair, too. All right, the next one is Nugget Garage. They are a friend of Marty and Moog. They're a friend of the Skid Factory. We'll get to them. As well as a couple other YouTubers. And I think they're friends with... Shed King Racing, his 3RZ. They're one of the premier developers of 3RZ engines in Australia. They're also do stuff with Haltech, so they're very well monitored, gauged, computered. I don't know. So very good show, very good channel. I think he's learning how to do the YouTube stuff. So there's not a lot. Might be long videos, short videos. Oldcarmemories.com. Old guy talking about old car memories. Very interesting. Old school, tried and tested. He's a color guy from California and ex-drug addict, alcoholic, and he talks about all the demons and things that come with alcohol and drug abuse and so forth. And he's a very vocal and outspoken Christian guy. Very. And I've noticed that there's a lot of people that can relate to him that were on drugs and things, and they're just happy that somebody out there is saying it loud. Yep. Louder so the people in the back can hear. Yeah. So he could be a little bit much too. So next one's Partzilla. This is Partzilla's customer relationships channel. How to repair different stuff and so forth. So ATVs and dirt bikes and stuff. Yeah. Next one's Power Driven Diesel, run by Todd Welch and the short guy. I should remember his name, but like I said before, our friend from Horse Torques used to work there, Josh McCormack, and Josh did his testing, and that kind of encouraged some of the other shop guys. There's one guy there, can't quite recall his name. He's into Power Strokes. That encouraged him to do Power Stroke videos he's an employee of Power Driven. And that encouraged him to do his own Power Driven Ford stuff. Todd Welch does own a Ford Excursion diesel, so Todd can't just be claiming to be Cummins only, but they do a lot of Cummins stuff. And it's sort of slowed down since Josh McCormack's no longer there. But it's a good show. I mean, when Todd Welch does get out there and get things done, he gets it done, man. They got a roller dyno there way high up on the Sky High in Colorado as well, or Utah, up there in Utah, Cedar City. Power Mods is from Canada. I got into this channel and it sort of slowed down. I think he had a shop where he did cool stuff with three-wheelers and high-powered snowmobiles. Lots of snowmobile content. He is also just north of here in Canada, in Ottawa. He was a full-time firefighter for Ottawa Fire Department. So he has another channel as well. So yeah, I really enjoy it. Kind of seeing the weather and different stuff. Pretty common guy, clean language, hard worker. Pretty professional and very energetic and fun. So let's see what's next. Power Stroke Help, run by Bill Hewitt in what state is he in? Georgia. I think he's in Georgia. It's one of the coastal states, I think. And he's an aircraft mechanic actually, and he has basically took the 6 liters at their inception and just went down part by part and figured out how to actually bulletproof these engines, how to keep them together, and how to make it last. I mean, in my opinion, the international engines that they built were, well, you can start with just the weight of the motor. There's a lot of iron in these motors, and they should be capable of making big power for a long, long time. International is very good at engineering engines, so I always felt like the 6 liter should last. So Bill Hewitt figured out, PowerstrokeHelp.com, figured out how to bulletproof these, and he even has a lifetime warranty on his bulletproofing work. That's how good he is. So I really appreciate the guy for going through divorce and separation and so forth, and just keeping his chin down, fighting and figuring out these diesel engines and how to help people for free on the internet at PowerstrokeHelp.com. So very good channel. Next channel up is Project Farm. Project Farm puts out a tool comparison video, tool testing.
Tools, then he tests them.
Yep, he buys different tools and different brands and tests them out and see what they can do.
And oils if you're lucky.
And oils if you're lucky. He does oils too, yep. So Project Farm is one of the videos we watch. So we watch Project Farm Sunday nights before bed, and then Cars and Cameras Monday night before bed, and then maybe Heavy D Sparks or something cool on the other nights. What else is there? Power Stroke Help, Project Farm, Real Engineering. Real Engineering is just talking about engineering stuff on his channel. I enjoy engineering, and he has a very clean, professional format. So with infographics and things, and he's going to be famous on the internet. He's one of those top 10 channels that cover on a specific topic. He's one of the top 10 ones. Very good channel. Pretty interesting too. A little bit thought-provoking sometimes outside the box, and kind of a way to follow along the solar and the battery and the green energy side of things as well. He's pretty interested in that. Real Vision Finance. Real Vision Finance is run by the Real Vision team, and And oh man, maybe I have to click on there. Real Vision. Raoul Paul. Raoul Paul he's an interesting guy, man. His brain goes a mile a minute. He doesn't, no bones about cursing to get his point across. And one of the things I like there is Raoul Paul's journey in cryptocurrency, I believe. He's got some very long format videos. He's able to keep his thoughts together and produce a long video about a certain subject. Very interesting, I would say. I don't watch everything that Real Vision puts out, but Real Vision is at the top of their game. They know what's going on in high places, and they're investors. They're doing their very best to understand how the mechanics of things function and where things are going, how to invest in a way to profit from the market directions. Next one's Redbeard's Garage. I started watching Redbeard way back when Redbeard came out. Redbeard is a Christian guy as well, and part of his story is that he was hooked on pot and being lazy, just smoking weed. And I guess his wife got to the point where she was ready to leave him. Maybe that's incorrect, but it sounded like it was a pretty rough time for them. And he found the Lord and got saved and put in the work to turn his life around. Instead of smoking pot, he started doing YouTube videos, and I think his wife helps him a lot. I've even seen her out in the garage helping him change tires and things. They're a pretty funny couple, really. I think Redbeard's a little cheesy with his jokes and stuff. I don't appreciate that a lot, but more people like that, but I don't really go for it. But they have done very well. They came from a little almost cul-de-sac. I think there were 3 houses in a row that shared one driveway up to the highway. He came from there, bought their own property, built their own shed and shop and office and loft and bedrooms and stuff in the one end. They're in Tennessee, so I think they can do stuff maybe that we can't, like a barndominium kind of thing. But they basically built the shed by themselves with a little help from church friends, I think. And they're doing very well. And sometimes I'll watch him. I usually watch Cars and Cameras, but I really appreciate Redbeard and the story of his putting in the work to change his life and do right by his family. And I think it's a good thing for him to be with his family and work with them every day. The next one, I don't know Redneck Customs. Redneck Customs is also a young Christian feller. That works on, he just did looks like a 4 or 6 part series on rebuilding a 6.4 Power Stroke. So that's very unusual. A lot of guys don't rebuild 6.4 Power Strokes. So his story is that they were being idiots and they rigged up a bunch of igniters from airbags, and he sat on a chair or I think it was a seat.
Beanbag?
Something on top of a plywood, on top of a bunch of igniters, and shot him up 15 foot in the air or something and broke a bunch of bones in his spine. And when he was in the hospital, his church family was praying for him, and his back miraculously healed like overnight or something. Bunch of broken bones. He was messed up for life, man. So he's back and doing well. So that's his story. It's pretty encouraging story there. Redneck 79. He is another Canadian feller, small guy like me, little family. He loves doing projects in his garage, kind of like Cars and Cameras. Started off as, but a little bit more Canadian redneck sort. He built a sled dog out of an old sled or snow dog. I don't remember what they're called. He did some fancy metalworking. He's very meticulous with his work too. I believe he enjoys aged whiskeys, and he built a couple fancy barrel stoves and different things. Very creative guy and very fussy with his work too. So it's fun to watch. Of course, his photography and his editing is also very fussy. So it's surprising that he doesn't have a huge. I think he could have a huge audience if he did it full time. Very cool channel that no one knows about. Red ZZ02 is somebody I found just lately. He's into the mudmower stuff. He's from I don't know, not local to here really.
Yeah.
But not from the other side of the U.S. either. So they're doing mud runs and different things. His partnership with Super Clean. They do some giveaways and stuff.
Yeah,
but,
he's a partner of Super Clean.
Yeah. So that's about it. Mudmower stuff from Red ZZ02. Rochester Wrenches. He's a colored feller from up here in the Salt Belt somewhere. And he I don't know what to say. Usually the language is pretty clean, but if he gets fired up, it changes quickly. There was some bad things that happened, but he wanted to try to do. I think he did vending machines for a little while. He worked on cars, fix and flip cars, and I really respected him. I remember one night he was out working in the snow at 3 in the morning, and it was 20 degrees below zero or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if you could work on a car at 20 below zero, but he was taking his Ford 5.4 liter Ford apart to try and bulletproof it. Yeah. I think that was the episode. Mm-hmm. Oh. But the amount of work that he put in his vehicle is absolutely mind-bending, and his ability to just keep working in the cold is quite an inspiration to me to keep on fighting too when it's cold out and freezing to death. And I'd rather go in and die than do that. So kind of an interesting channel, and he's moved away from doing videos regularly. He's just still doing some and working a full-time job. Next one's Roaring Kitty. I don't really know much. The guy has terrible language, that's for sure, but he was part of the drinking my coffee, are you? Crazy kid. He was part of the GameStop, AMC GameStop charge to the top. So I kind of picked him up from that. I haven't seen any videos for a long, long time on him, so I don't know. The next one's rolling up my sleeves. It is the lifestyle channel of Dwayne of oh, I think my brain's dying. He's the lifestyle channel of Power Mods, and I should know his name too, but I don't. So this is where he works on his properties with his ponds and his forests and logging and working on his Toyotas and his stuff related to property maintenance and his equipment and whatnot. The next one's Rudy's Performance Parts. I don't think they have much of any videos. They're Rudy's. Rudy's is a big high performance diesel shop, so it's kind of their customer relationships page from that. The next one, I don't recognize this one at all. It's called Second Sight Trailers. Looks like it's an advertising. It's an advertising. It's an farm equipment advertising clips, I think. Let's see, that was Second Sight Trailers. We're getting down on the list now. All right. Okay, Sent and Bent. This is the second channel from Grindhard Plumbing. And all the... Well, this might be the second guy there. Can't remember his name, but it might be their podcast channel for my brain's dying. I just said it. Sent and Bent. I think it's a podcast channel. The next one is Shed King Racing. He is Does a little bit of fabricating in his little garage in the city, and he sells some build your own turbo manifold kits for 3RZ stuff. He has a 3RZ race truck with 700 horsepower. It's a little Toyota two-wheel drive Hilux truck with wings and all kinds of stuff to keep it flat on the ground with a sequential shift inline. He, like I said before, he's a friend of the Hoth, which was, the Hoth is Nugget Garage. They're friends with Mighty Mods and Super Cheap Auto and all this stuff. Man, I can't remember. Whew. Shed King Racing, yep. He's slowed down a lot because he had like HOA complaints about his little shed there. So the next one is Sloppy Mechanics. He is from Pennsylvania. Try and remember the area, but it's Pennsylvania. But yeah, I might remember. He had access to a roller dyno out there. A paving company owned a roller dyno, and he had access to it. So he started doing. He's a computer technician. He installs and maintains computer systems. There's a name for that. I can't remember. But he started doing LS stuff. You can go on sloppymechanics.com maybe and download free files. So you just put your Chevy engine in something else, use the stock harnesses and stuff, and boom. Download the free tuning file. And he had an S10 Chevy, an 08, I think, 7, something like that he put a 6-liter LS in and made 1,000 horsepower with a cam and valve springs and a turbo. Pretty cool. I was very impressed when that happened. He still does development stuff on wiring harnesses and wastegates and different stuff. It's got some sponsors. He's a very unique guy. The next one is Smoked Out Garage. I got to see what this one is. OBS solid axle swap. Yeah, lighting fireworks off inside a car. Oh, I know what Smoked Out Garage is. Smoked Out Garage is from the same area there that Hager Garage used to be from. And they're kind of rednecks. I think he might have had a Power Stroke van or something in the past that I watched. The next is Steve Dolan. So Steve Dolan, I think he's the same guy that makes the Steed Speed manifolds. Maybe not. But what he does do is he has some stuff for a Allison transmission swap on the Cummins, I believe. As well as he builds wiring harnesses and computers, I think, to make a controller for VGT turbos. So it allows you to add VGT turbos on a non-VGT engine. So I want to get a hold of his harnesses and controllers sometime and put some VGTs on farm tractors. So that's Steve Dolan. Next is Steve Jackson Racing. Steve Jackson's a hilarious guy, very competitive and funny southern dude. He races Top Fuel dragsters, I think. Dwayne, close the door there. Slam it. Right now, hurry. Don't let the kids come in. We're trying to think here. The next is Steve Bancars. Steve Bancars is a very good testimony from being delivered from Eastern mysticism. So if you have any questions about Eastern mysticism, how some of that stuff works, he came out of that, or I would say he got delivered out of that, and then he came out and interviewed a ton of people. I think he went to like a Baptist college or something. Very intelligent and very well-spoken guy. To think how young of a kid he is. The next is Steve Blunier. Steve Blunier is one of the contributors to the Cadet Connection magazine. Just like Farm All Gray there. I think Steve had a produce patch he farmed with his little farm on Cub Cadets and stuff. Miniature tractors with big ag tires and hydraulics and 3-point hitches and stuff. Because those were some options you could get on Cub Cadets. They're kind of hard to find. And then it's a real hobby to build up tractors with all the options. And you can take power steering systems and add them onto a non-power steering tractor. It just takes a lot of thought and fab work. So pretty cool stuff. He doesn't post very often, and when he does, it's usually big little clips of tractors and fields and whatnot. Alright, the next is Super Cheap Auto. I subscribed probably to win something on one of the other channels. Probably during the Make It Super Challenge. I don't really know much about what they post. I don't think they post. The next is Tech Ingredients. They're from the New England state somewhere. He is probably I'll get it wrong. Some kind of a teacher, science teacher. Anyway, they do science projects and things. They live up in the forest. They have a very beautiful lab, all wooden and stuff. Very cool, very smart guy. He can figure stuff out, like making a different style of air conditioner. Very smart dude. Really enjoy it. TFL Off-Road, that is part of the TFL Truck, the Fast Lane Truck channel. It's their off-road section of their channel. The next is Binder Boneyard, the Binder Boneyard. He is an International Harvester parts truck guy. He's obviously not from my area because, you know, they're all rusted away by now. But he is out west somewhere. He has a DT 360 swapped International Harvester pickup truck and possibly Allison transmission. Very cool kind of stuff. I hope he keeps on doing videos. They're very good information. The next is the Dogecoin Millionaire. And I'm sure you know where that guy came from. He apparently borrowed a bunch of money and stuck it in Dogecoin and became $3 million rich. And now he's not a millionaire anymore because he didn't sell when the price was high. Pretty cool kid though, you know. Not a well-educated kid, not particularly intelligent, but he has the ability to creatively think outside the box. So he's interesting, and he's friends with Andre Jick with the Millennial Money podcast guys, and Millennial Money and Meet Kevin. So kind of in that gang, kind of not. Maybe they were just riding him for his notoriety. But when he does post videos, it's pretty good. The Fast Lane Truck, part of TFL Off-Road, Fast Lane Truck. They do truck reviews. And they do them well, and they do them in an entertaining way. They have taken off incredibly. They're great. Very professional. I like it. The Off-Grid Guru. He's a young feller like me. He travels around doing off-grid stuff and Earthship Homes. So he has been in Mexico helping with an Earthship home. That was pretty cool. Got to see how the Earthship homes are built and how to conserve water and heat and thermal mass, using thermal batteries, and so forth. Pretty interesting kid. He's very nice, soft-spoken guy. Fun to listen to, actually. The Ranch Performance. All right, we're down to the bottom here. Ranch Performance. They are a couple of crazy, wild, redneck, language disclaimer guys. They have a 7.3. They have a 7.3 mechanically injected 7.3 powered pool truck. So that's very interesting to see how that's going to go. There's not a lot of Ford content on the internet. It's very hard to find anybody doing performance stuff with Ford trucks. And that might be partly because they're so hard to work on. And it feels to me like all the Ford guys think, oh, we got secret sauce. We can't show it on the internet. Nobody cares. So that's those guys. Just another channel to watch. All right. The Skid Factory. The Skid Factory is definitely one of my top 5 YouTube channels that I really love. And I could listen to Al talk all day. He's just funny with his gravelly voice and his ums and his ahs and his, but he knows his stuff. He really does. And not only that, he's not just an old fart that's still doing carburetor stuff. He is pushing all the way up, learning the high-tech platforms and stuff, and he knows his stuff. He started off turboing Subarus way back when and just kept on going. He's got his own garage, and the 2 guys in there film together. Some good stuff. I really enjoy it. I want to get one more banner for over here. He's got a banner that says "Use your brain." I want to get that one. The next one, Top Line Racer. Top Line Racer's in Pennsylvania. We're probably down there in his area the other weekend. And they like Chevy, and they don't mind buying a little bit flogged out Duramaxes and stuff and fixing them. And the amount of work they do, or the amount of work they have done to get their trucks and stuff done, back on the road, get their projects through, it's pretty incredible. Some of it is kind of half done, not very professionally done, just because they don't have the professional facilities or maybe the money to do it. Even though they invest a lot of money into their channel. One thing they did is they bought Whistling Diesel's crashed Chevy truck and they fixed it all back up again. Pretty cool. The next one is Trevor Jameson. Trevor Jameson is Trevor's lifestyle channel to film stuff with his family. His main channel name is Motion Auto TV, so he doesn't put a lot on this channel. Vice Grip Garage, very famous YouTube channel. And I'm not sure why I even subscribe to them, but I do watch some of his stuff. I kind of enjoy his antics. He's pretty low-key with his being silly and whatnot. Visual Racer. I got a hold of him. He did compilations of different engine sounds and stuff. He is from Europe somewhere, and his English is pretty tough, pretty rough English. But I really appreciate the kid, how he started with nothing, no voiceovers, and now he's been working his way up, doing very high quality videos. I've never had a complaint with any of his content that he put out. War Stories with Mark Felton. I love Mark Felton history, and this is the podcast side of his YouTube. So this is his podcast channel on YouTube. What Would You Say is I think What Would You Say is produced by then again I can't remember. But it's from a well-known Christian organization, and it's covering questions like abortion and things that people ask. They're like, "Oh, if you don't support this, you're a barbarian or something." And then they have a "What would you say" if somebody asks you a certain question. So very good for college kids, very good for most anybody that's a Christian that wants to have an answer, a good explanation of why is it that we do what we do. Whistling Diesel. I mean, you gotta be subscribed to this kid. I mean, anyway, I don't mind when people smash Chevy trucks. The funny thing is you put in the work to earn the money to buy something. You can burn it to the ground if you want to. It's yours. It's just funny that people get triggered about that. I mean, then he went and dropped the Toyota truck off a helicopter. Now, that was pretty hard to watch, but I stand by what I said before. It's his money, and it's his truck. And if I really couldn't stand it, then maybe I should go buy all the Toyota trucks in the world so he doesn't have another one to smash. what you gonna do about it? Nothing. Because very provocative kid. Hey, one of the cool things that he's done lately is the kid that had his tractor impounded in New York, Norwich, New York. So I don't know exactly where it is. I think it's in Western New York somewhere. But I feel like most days I feel like the school system and New York in general is just a write-off. But then Whistling turns around and he makes something positive happen. So it's an encouragement for me that even though the world is a mess, it feels like I can still make a positive change in my community by just going ahead and doing what's right. Well, I don't know if this was right, but things are better now because of what Whistling Diesel's done. So I really appreciate that. And maybe if his channel can take this kind of bent, it could be very successful for him. I kind of hope it does. The next one's wholesale automatic transmissions. Wholesale automatics is one of the I can't recall his name right now, but he's got a big 79 series Land Cruiser. He has been on many four-wheel drive action films. Rocket Rod from Wholesale Automatics. He's been on many four-wheel drive action trips, and so that's how I got a hold of him, Wholesale Automatics. And then he's a very funny, interesting guy. It's pretty cool to watch him doing his own thing, because you get more, airtime. You get more time with Rocket Rod versus what you do with four-wheel drive action shoots. So that's nice. And then the last one on the list is Wood and Metal Shop Time. He also builds cool Cub Cadet custom stuff. He built a Cub Cadet powered grader. And now he's finishing a Cub Cadet powered bulldozer. And he has a very interesting drive system. The talking's a little bit slow. The whole show's a little bit slow paced, but you can use the skip forward button to get the parts you want. And it's been very interesting. I really like shows like that to start off doing little stuff, and they just work their way up. He's a retired gentleman, and hey, he even lives on a lake. I didn't know that, but I knew his property was kind of smashed between other properties because he has a fence wanting down the one side. And then one day he was shooting video, and he went down, and there's a lake there. So this guy's got everything. He lives on a lake. He plays in his garage. How much more do you want out of life? Anyway, guys, that's the end of the video. Those are my YouTube channels I watch, and those are my opinions about them. I really like Cars and Cameras, Project Farm, and Skid Factory, and Whistling Diesel, War Stories with Mark Felton, a couple of those. So it's pretty cool waking up in the morning, having some nice shows from Australia to watch that came in overnight. But it's pretty much where I get my news. It's pretty much where I get my entertainment. And some are podcasts, some are shows, and some I can listen to while I work. Others I'll watch at night. So that really is it, guys. I mean, thanks for watching, and hope you like my background that I've picked out here. A cup of coffee. Video like this is very hard to do with the kids come busting inside and make a lot of racket and whatnot. So I had to do this in a couple shoots, which I appreciate you guys watching. This was way more exhausting than I figured, but fun. I hope this is some good suggestions for you, and we'll see you in the next one.